There is a problem spreading through law enforcement agencies right now. It is not coming from outside the organization. It is coming from inside, from well-meaning officers trying to do their jobs more efficiently. And most agencies have no policy, no training, and no supervision in place to address it. The problem is AI-assisted report writing, and before you dismiss this as a technology issue, it is not. It is a documentation integrity issue, a liability issue, a supervision issue, and it is one that leadership needs to get ahead of before it becomes a courtroom issue. Here's what is happening in agencies across the country right now. Officers finish a call. They open ChatGPT, Google Gemini, or another AI tool on their phone or personal computer. They type in a few notes. What happened? Who was involved? What they observed? The AI generates a polished, professional-sounding narrative. The officer reviews it quickly, maybe edits a line or two, and copies it into their official report. That report gets submitted. It goes through your system. It becomes part of the official record. And here is what most of those officers do not fully understand, and what most supervisors are not checking for. That AI-generated narrative may contain information that was never in the officer's notes. It may describe things the officer never said, saw, or experienced. It may present those fabrications in confident, authoritative, professional language, indistinguishable from an accurate first-hand account. This is not speculation. It is a documented characteristic of how AI language models work. They are designed to produce complete, coherent, professional text, even when the input they were given is incomplete. They fill in gaps. They make assumptions. They generate plausible-sounding details. In a police report, a plausible-sounding fabricated detail is not just an error. It is a potentially career-ending, case-destroying agency liability problem. Let me be clear about something. This is not primarily an officer problem. It is a supervision and governance problem. Your officers are using tools that are freely available, that nobody has told them not to use, and that genuinely make certain tasks easier. Without clear guidance, they are going to keep using them. The question is not whether AI is being used in your agency's report writing process. The question is whether it is being used with any oversight, any standards, or any awareness of the risks. Right now, in most agencies, the answer is no. Supervisors are reviewing reports for accuracy and completeness, but they are not trained to identify AI-generated content. They are approving reports that may contain AI-fabricated details, not because they are negligent, but because nobody told them this was something to look for. That is a training gap, and it is a leadership responsibility to close it. Here's where this gets urgent for command staff. Defense attorneys are already aware of this issue. In criminal cases across the country, defense counsel are beginning to raise AI as a discovery issue, requesting to know whether AI tools were used in the preparation of reports, evidence summaries, or other case documents. In some jurisdictions, courts are beginning to develop disclosure requirements around AI-generated content. This is not a future concern. It is happening now. And if your agency has no policy on AI use in report writing, and a defense attorney discovers that an officer used AI to generate a narrative that contains a factual inaccuracy, you have an exposure problem that no policy written after the fact can fully address. The time to establish your position on this is before you need it, not after a case gets thrown out, not after a lawsuit gets filed, not after the story ends up in the news. This does not mean AI has no place in law enforcement documentation. It means AI use needs clear boundaries and human accountability. Here's what responsible use looks like. AI may assist with grammar, spelling, and sentence structure, with the officer reviewing and verifying every word against their own first-hand account. AI may help organize notes into a coherent structure, with the officer confirming that every detail in the final document reflects what they actually observed. AI output should never be submitted as an official report without complete human review and verification against the officer's own contemporaneous notes. And any agency that permits AI assistance in report writing should have a clear disclosure standard, so supervisors and prosecutors know when AI was involved and can apply appropriate scrutiny. The principle is simple. AI may assist. The officer is responsible. The supervisor verifies. The agency owns the record. That chain of accountability has to be explicit, not assumed. 3 immediate steps for command staff. First, acknowledge the reality. Your officers are likely already using AI tools in some capacity. Assuming otherwise is not a position, it is a gap. Find out what is actually happening in your agency before you can address it. Second, establish a clear interim position. You do not need a fully developed policy to start. You need a clear statement that goes out to your agency now. Something simple, something direct. No AI-generated content in official reports without complete officer review and verification. No sensitive case information entered into public AI tools. Any use of AI in documentation must be disclosed to supervisors. 3 sentences. Significant risk reduction. Third, train your supervisors. Your supervisors cannot catch what they do not know to look for. They need basic awareness of how AI-generated content works, what the risks are, and what their review responsibilities look like in this environment. That training does not have to be complicated, but it has to happen. This is exactly the kind of practical, leadership-focused guidance that WebBotIQ Public Safety provides. We help law enforcement agencies approach AI in a deliberate and responsible way, with training, readiness assessments, and governance frameworks built for public safety leadership. If you are ready to brief your command staff on AI readiness, or if you want a practical review of where your agency stands right now, visit the link in the description, webbotiq.com/public-safety. If this was useful, subscribe. New videos every Friday covering AI and public safety leadership. And if you know a supervisor, lieutenant, captain, or chief who needs to hear this, send them this video. The report writing conversation is coming to your agency. Better to lead it than react to it. I'll see you in the next one.